need those workers, end quote. A black man in Maryland was arrested twice in under 24 hours for attacking the same woman. Police say 40-year-old James Bowman assaulted her again just hours after being released on domestic violence charges. He's now being held without bond. And rapper Westside Gunn says WWE kicked him out of a Monday Night Raw event and sent a cease and desist over using wrestling images on album covers. Gunn says he spent over $5,000 on tickets and travel and now plans to focus on his own wrestling league, Fourth Rope. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Families have been loving LifeSource Whole House Water Systems for over 40 years. And now when you buy LifeSource, you can save up to $1,000 with the no sales tax special. Call 800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com. And soon, warranty limitations apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers have an early season test to find 6:30 tip-off tonight on ESPN. The Clippers are at home tonight against Denver. The Clippers are trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. USC women's basketball star Juju Watkins is using some of her NIL money to invest in Boston Legacy FC, a new franchise in the National Women's Soccer League, a pro league with 16 teams around the U.S. Watkins, a junior from Compton, is sitting out this season to recover from a knee injury. Watkins' NIL revenue reportedly is $765,000. She has endorsement deals with Nike, United Airlines, Fanatics, Ritz Crackers, and Degree Underarm Deodorant. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, standing with you in perilous times. If you've been impacted by the federal government shutdown or the discontinuation of SNAP benefits, you can find a food bank near you that's offering free groceries by going to lafoodbank.org or call 211. Additionally, LA County offers free meals at certain parks. There are meals and snacks for kids and seniors. Visit parks.lacounty.gov to find out which centers are offering which programs and to register in advance. And in addition to offering 2 free meals per day for all students, the LA Unified School District provides weekend meal kits for its students by request. The meal kits can be picked up on Fridays at grab-and-go locations. Please visit lausd.org/Cafe LA. That's lausd.org/CAFELA. We keep us safe. We keep us provided for. We keep us connected. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, I'm married to this game. That's who I made my wife. Said I'd die alone, I told that she probably right. One thing that's for sure, not a stranger to this life. Got a safe that's full of Franklins and a shoulder full of stripes. I don't know it like myself. I say self-made, meaning I design myself. County jail fade, you can pull my foul yourself. Spy raid, swallow rocks, I'm getting high myself. Nah, damn right I like the life I built. I'm from West Side 60, I might got killed. Standing so tall, they think I might got stilts. Legendary baller like Mike, like Wilt. 96 Impala, thug life on wheels. Up against the wall, squabble at Fox Hills. Like a mother boss, ask me how I feel. Successful street, touching them first meals. All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice.
Welcome to Wealth Building Wednesdays, where we center Black, women, and BIPOC-owned businesses. Highlight opportunities and initiatives for underrepresented entrepreneurs and center socially innovative enterprises, building generational prosperity.
Working as well, because We are able to share resources with you. Black owned, BIPOC owned, women owned, socially innovative businesses. If you want to be considered for such as that, all you have to do is jump in our DMs. We're at KBLA 1580 on every platform. And you can also hit me up at Diprima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. Well, don't DM me on Facebook. I never look at my Facebook DMs, but the rest of them, even Twitter, I am there. And you can tell me about your business, and we can connect you with a Wealth Building Wednesday spotlight, let people know about the great work you're doing and how to support your enterprise. I'm excited to welcome in the president and CEO of the Black Freedom Fund. This is an organization that supports leaders and organizations who work to support Black communities and build power. They have the resources to help others stay in the fight. In the past 5 years, they've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations all across California. Mark Philpart, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So it sounds like this is a different take on wealth building. It's not just about entrepreneurship. It's about supporting those nonprofits that help create sort of long-term stability and political power for our communities.
Absolutely, that's right. We realize at the Black Freedom Fund that community organizations are really at the center of our communities in ways that support wealth and health and education and all of the really important social indicators that help to propel people forward. And so by investing in those organizations that are really at the center of our communities, we are hoping to be able to uplift all those people who they touch.
So, I mean, that's interesting because I don't really think of, okay, wealth building. I don't think about power building. I don't think about freedom in relationship all the time to capital, to capitalism, to important, but connect the dots.
It's a great question, and the reason why the inequities Black communities face are so prevalent is not only because of all the historical trauma that we know too well, but the issues that people have been grappling with really metastasize in ways that compound over generations. And so when you think about, the any issue you care about, whether it's schooling or health or wealth, these are things that have been compounded over time and that we're dealing with today. And so when I talk about power, I'm really talking about the capacity for people to have agency, to be able to actually change the things that are showing up in their lives. We think about everything that is up for people in a community. Where I grew up in South Central LA, there were things happening around me and to me all the time, but couldn't really understand why they were going down that way and didn't have the capacity to engage in ways that really change those dynamics. And so we talk about power as the capacity to change those dynamics and seize opportunity and really shape a future that we all want to live in.
Yeah, it's interesting too when you talk about compounding over generations. You look at, I mean, your example of education was a really good one because that lack of education or inferior education impacts our generational wealth, our generational well-being, health, and everything else. So all of these issues are inextricably interconnected, aren't they?
Yes, they're interconnected, and it requires us to have a root cause analysis to be able to address them. we have to think about, as it relates to wealth, we have to think about things like financial services and education, but we also have to think about the tax code and
Yeah.
how the tax code is widening inequities for Black folks when it comes to wealth on a daily basis. I mean, it really is just quite problematic. So we have to get to the root in our work. And so when we talk about power, we really encourage the organizations we support to have a root cause, a systems analysis that helps to both understand the present day needs and the services that organizations can deploy, but also the advocacy that they can do to change some of these systemic issues and the way that they're showing up in everyday people's lives.
The development of all kinds of thriving within communities. For me, when I talk about generational wealth or thriving, we're also talking about well-being. We're talking about education because to me, all of that is part of wealth. It's not just how many dollars are in your bank account.
That's right. That's right. The way we can start to measure wealth and well-being, I think, needs to be more expansive. When we look at other countries, they are using things like the UN Human Development Index, and it is absolutely a more expansive understanding of how wealth and well-being take shape. You are likely not able to be wealthy if you are undereducated or if you grow up in a community where you're exposed to oil and all kinds of other toxins and environmental exposures. And so, these things make common sense when you start to say them out loud, but for some reason, the way our communities are constructed, we're disproportionately impacted by these kinds of situations.
Wealth disparities within nonprofits and within philanthropy specifically. Tell me about some of the kinds of things that you do to address that.
Yeah, so we came from a moment of crisis in 2020, following the murder of Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and George Floyd in 2020. Philanthropy was wondering what to do. And what normally happens in philanthropy is that after a crisis, there's a wave of support. And once that crisis recedes and the cameras turn away, so does the support. And so we set out to create an entity in the Black Freedom Fund that would sustain investment and sustain momentum in ways that would help organizations do the long-term work that's necessary for our communities. We can't talk about some of these bigger systemic issues and expect organizations to approach them in a 1-year or 2-year grant cycle. It really requires philanthropy to walk alongside and be in partnership for the long haul. So that's the number one thing we're committed to is long-term investment in Black power building organizations throughout California. Second, our approach is relational. We are seeking to understand where people are at, how they're doing their work, and deepening a relationship with them. We want them to know that we're in partnership. It's not a contract that we're issuing for them to do work and services in the community. This is really about our freedom and liberation. And most people are looking for a comrade and they get a contract. And so we're committed to being that comrade.
A comrade it's interesting. I didn't realize that Black-led nonprofits had 76% less unrestricted assets than white-led counterparts, and that even with revenue about a quarter less. So how do you address that, especially in this environment where it seems like even anything that appears to help people is black people is labeled DEI and deemed improper or illegal. How do you even function in this environment?
It's a good question. I mean, it's one that we are grappling with every day. The numbers that you mention about how philanthropy underinvests in the Black community is really reflective of the type of racial segregation and economic deprivation that the Black community has long suffered in this country. And so, by being in philanthropy, being an organization that is taking a leadership role in the sector, we call our peers' attention to the needs of our community on a regular basis and really try to ask the question, what are you doing for the Black community? We know that there are so many well-meaning people in the space. Oftentimes, they need a vehicle to help them get better connected. And so, we are that vehicle, and we are helping people get to know that are doing incredible work in Black communities throughout California, and trying to ensure that they are connected to not only us, but other funders who have the capacity and wherewithal to be engaged in bigger ways than we can.
How do you measure your impact?
It's a great question. We have a survey that we deploy, which really helps us get an all-encompassing picture of what organizations are going through. We measure things like how much more money they are receiving from other entities since being in partnership with the Black Freedom Fund. We try to understand how they're using our resources. Sometimes they're using our resources in ways that allow them to add additional programming, new staff, address unmet needs in community. We also talk a lot about policy and ask the question of how are they advancing policy issues. As of our last survey, we received about 70% of the organizations that we supported are working on policy issues, and about 50% of those 70% essentially are advancing policy wins. And so, our organizations are highly effective, and we want the world to know.
And if someone listening is part of a, Black-led nonprofit that is doing this kind of work, how would they reach out to you? How would they get involved with the Black Freedom Fund?
We have a new website that they can look at and contact us through. It is fundblackfreedom.org, fundblackfreedom.org. We are telling the people what to do. So please support the Black Freedom Fund, and please reach out to us and inquire about how you can get connected. We are making grants to organizations throughout the end of this year and into early 2026, and looking forward to growing the pool of organizations we support and including more people who want to invest in building power in the Black community.
Yeah, are you worried about nonprofits? I mean, the president just gave out wrote some kind of memo saying that he's going after, basically targeting nonprofits, particularly those that seek to help end anti-Blackness. It's troubling. Is this something that you are concerned about?
I'm deeply concerned. The president is using, the administrative power that he holds to really roll back important wins that our country has advanced around civil and human rights, frankly. And it's terrifying. We are doing everything that we can to ensure that we are staying committed, overreach. The attacks that we have seen on academia, on the media, on nonprofits, and anyone who is seeking to advance racial justice are horrendous. And we should, as a society and as a collective, be speaking out against these things and doing what we can to really ensure that the hard-fought gains of the civil rights movement and, frankly, of things that are even more recent are protected.
Yeah, well, 200 plus organizations, and the grant making that you're doing specifically to build Black Power, Black Freedom is very much needed, and we appreciate it. $45 million to 200 grassroots organizations across the state. It's much appreciated. Thank you, Mark Philpart, for the work that you're doing, and thank you for supporting the Left Coast Forum and the work of KBLA Talk 1580 as well.
Thank you, Dominique, for your important work, and thank you for having me.
And you can find out more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. Mark Philpart, thank you once again.
Thank you.
We will be taking your phone calls when we come forward. What the heck is going on? 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima for Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Imagine being a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. In clinical trials, at least 70% of patients saw at least 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks. Results may vary. Tremfya is also indicated for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit tremfya.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report scams, and update your software. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock
Continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
Yeah, y'all are talking about it in the YouTube chat at KBLA 1580, and of course, I think talking about it across the country. House Democrats have dropped some Epstein info, their emails, specifically talking about Trump, the president, by the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who allegedly committed suicide in jail. And they're talking about his relationship to the president. This is before Trump was elected, and also, in the run-up to the 2020 election. These emails, which were shared with the press, are part of this trove of 23,000 documents that Epstein's estate released to that committee. And they include letters between Epstein and his girlfriend, air quotes, girlfriend / madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, who's currently serving a 20-year sentence and currently trying to get Trump to pardon her. From the excerpts that I've seen, they appear to be pretty damning. There's one excerpt where Epstein writes, "I want you to realize the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. A victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned." And there's another one with Michael Wolff, who's an author. This is from January of 2019, where he's talking about the Mar-a-Lago club and says, Trump said he asked me to resign. I was never, ever a member. Of course, he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So it's I think, damning for the president in terms of the fact that he knew what was going on and the implication that he was possibly involved, probably, likely, allegedly involved with some of these victims. The question for me right now, with the tragedy of the terrible decision by these 8 Senate Democrats and others who allegedly supported them but didn't want to weigh in on with their votes because they are facing re-election, is that going to take over the news cycle? Are we really going to talk about these Epstein emails? It's not the files that people have been asking for, the full release of the files, but it's a little drip, drip, drip. Does this drip, drip, drip undermine the president and remind people that his involvement in the ways that he's criminally or just in terms of general sleaze implicated could be far-ranging, deep and broad? Or does it sort of make it where people don't care anymore? Like, oh, that, we've heard enough about the Epstein files and the Epstein emails. Why are we still on this? I don't know the answer to that. So far, this president has been remarkably resilient. Stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone, I'll get away with it. No one will care. And it seems like, from what I'm reading, these, Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein are marveling at the very same thing. How is this scandal touching all of these people, but the president and Trump is the dog who hasn't barked, meaning somehow he's getting away with this. That to me would whet my appetite for more. I'm going to want to see more Epstein files. I'm going to want to see more evidence, receipts, paper trails, not less. But I wonder how this works in the news cycle. Oh, they released something already, so we let them off the hook. Or maybe people are just sick of hearing about it, so they stop paying attention. I wonder. I don't know the answer to that. But I hope that the drip, drip, drip of information doesn't have that effect. And, God bless Democrats. If they're doing it to get the heat off of them for the terrible decision not to stay strong in the face of the Republican Party trying to cut health care help for people who use Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, then shame on them. But at the same time, I'm glad to see the conversation back in the headlines. We've got news, traffic, and sports. Then it's the perfect time to call me. KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says the U.S. needs the H-1B visa program to bring in skilled workers. He shared his thoughts in a Fox News interview.
When
we have plenty of talented people
here.
No, you don't.
You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn.
Trump pointed to a Georgia battery plant raid where hundreds of South Koreans were deported, saying, quote, "You're going to need those workers," end quote. A black man in Maryland was arrested twice in under 24 hours for attacking the same woman. Police say 40-year-old James Bowman assaulted her again just hours after being released on domestic violence charges. He's now being held without bond. And rapper Westside Gunn says WWE kicked him out of a Monday Night Raw event and sent a cease and desist over using wrestling images on album covers. Gunn says he spent over $5,000 on tickets and travel and now plans to focus on his own wrestling league, Fourth Rope. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Families have been loving LifeSource Whole House Water Systems for over 40 years. And now when you buy LifeSource, you can save up to $1,000 with the no sales tax special. Call 800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com. And soon, warranty limitations apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers have an early season test to find out how good they really are without LeBron. They're in Oklahoma City tonight to take on the defending NBA champions. OKC has the NBA's best record at 11-1, and they're 5-0 at home. At 8-3, the Lakers have the third best record in the Western Conference. 6:30 tip-off tonight on ESPN. The Clippers are at home tonight against Denver. The Clippers are trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. USC women's basketball star Juju Watkins is using some of her NIL money to invest in Boston Legacy FC, a new franchise in the National Women's Soccer League, a pro league with 16 teams around the U.S. Watt, a junior from Compton, is sitting out this season to recover the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
September is World Alzheimer's Month, a time to shine a light on a public health crisis that deeply impacts Black families. 1 in 5 Black adults ages 70 and older is living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD, and the risk is twice as high compared to white adults. But AD isn't just forgetting a name or losing track of time. Signs of early AD could be repeating questions, missing appointments, or struggling with bills and daily tasks. These things aren't a normal part of aging. Here's the good news. Treatments are available that may help if AD is diagnosed early. If you notice changes in memory or daily routines, whether in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatalsearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com to learn more about the signs and symptoms and a potential treatment option. This message is brought to you by AZI.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Broadcasting live from Lamar Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, and as Michael points out in the KBLA 1580 chat, Tavis Smiley has found Pedro. We've been looking for Pedro. We had been looking for 4 whole days after Southern California Edison reneged on their in-writing promise to appear at an Altadena Eaton Fire victims town hall to give information about what Southern California was offering in their settlement and give answers live and in person. Well, Tavis found Pedro yesterday, and we will find out exactly what happened when Mr. Smiley hits this chair at 8 o'clock this morning Pacific time, so you don't want to miss that. Tavis Smiley will be here live with me who is one of the people that Epstein is corresponding with here. In the video, in the emails that were released by congressional Democrats, is going back and forth with Epstein, and it seems that his part of his problem is that he's trying to write this book, and now he has already complained that Melania Trump is suing him to suppress what he has to say about her connection with Epstein. Don't hear much about that in the media, which to me is very strange, because that is a crazy kind of smoking gun. This guy, Michael Wolff, is talking with Epstein, and they're talking about, why he has been so Teflon when it comes to this. And Epstein says, if we were going to craft an answer for Trump, what do you think it would be? If Trump is asked about his relationship with Epstein during the presidential debates, and he says that that if he says he hasn't been on the plane or in the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. And it really shows you how they're taking this information and using it as currency. Here they're talking about Trump, but that's a template for what they probably do with all these powerful folks that are pedophiles and that are using his services. And that, he didn't end up getting asked about the debate, but it's interesting that this exchange seems to imply that the president has plenty to hide. And the Republicans, of course, are saying that the Democrats are cherry picking this information and that they're only releasing stuff that makes them look good. Well, of course, but they're claiming that once they get through redacting victims' names, they're going to drop all 33,000 pages of these documents for the public. Meanwhile, there's a whistleblower who earlier this week reported that the House, that Ghislaine Maxwell was getting special treatment at the lower security prison that she was moved to in Texas. This whistleblower said to the House Judiciary Committee, why is Ghislaine Maxwell getting these perks and this special treatment? I think we know why. It does seem mighty suspicious. And this guy, of course, Wolf, is now suing the First Lady, saying that she threatened him with a lawsuit to stop him from writing about her ties to Epstein. That's one of the things that I think is completely underreported. I feel like it seems like it's possible, based on what I've read, the one who introduced Trump and Melania, and that maybe Melania has some other kind of history with Epstein that she wants to keep secret, or that's not flattering to the First Lady. I'm not really sure, but the fact that she was threatening with him with legal action and now he's countersuing would seem to indicate that there's, where there's smoke, there's fire type thing with Melania. And so it seems very suspect. And all of these puzzle pieces are making it, I would think, more. Yes, Michael, I have seen Melania in the photos with Trump, with Diddy, with Ghislaine. But the thing is, there's never been a direct implication. We've seen the naked pictures of her and her working as a so-called model when she came here. I believe she's the first lady to have posed for naked pics, to be a model. She says she's proud of those pics. But I can tell you right now that had Michelle Obama done anything of the kind, she would have been run out of the White House with pitchforks. But in any case, whatever you think, maybe you think they're beautiful art, they're like a Michelangelo's, whatever you think of it, it doesn't change the fact that we've seen the pictures of Melania with Epstein, with Ghislaine, with Trump looking high out of her mind, allegedly, as a sexy model. But what we haven't seen, at least I haven't seen, correct me if I'm wrong, is direct links to Melania working for or with Epstein before she got together with Trump, or how he introduced them, if he did, and what that connection looked like, what it does or does not implicate the president in terms of the kind of business that he was doing with Epstein and these young women. Was Melania one of a long line? Was she prior to connecting with the president? Was she one of Ghislaine's girls who worked with other tricks? Is that what we call them, Miles? We don't know. And so there's a possibility that this kind of stuff, and yes, I'm speculating, but, it's a smoke fire type scenario, that this could be the real reason why the White House is, or one of the reasons why the White House is so adamant in not releasing these Epstein files. And the fact of the matter is that is likely also because if it comes out that Trump was messing with a whole bunch of underage girls, right, that he is in fact a pedophile, as the so-called playful interaction with his daughter would seem to imply from when she was a little girl, then it's probably not going to do anything. Like he said, he can stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and murder people, and people will say, he's got 34 felonies. He can still be president. Nobody cares. But Melania might not have that same kind of Teflon, protection. So if it comes out that she was in the employ of Epstein or Ghislaine, fighting to keep these files under wraps, delay. Meanwhile, Mike Johnson is supposed to be swearing in Adelita Grijalva. That's the House of Representatives member, representative-elect out of Arizona, the Democrat who won her special election, that Mike Johnson has been delaying. I think he might have set a record, if I'm not wrong, for the longest delay swearing in someone after they get elected. Now, when it comes to the Republican reps who get elected, they quickly rush through their swearing in. Here, he's been delaying it, and one of the reasons is because it seems that she is the last vote needed to the final signature needed for a discharge position, which will force the House to vote on a bill that would require the Department of Justice to release all of the Epstein files. Da-na-na-na. The plot thickens. So, provided that Adelita Grijalva stays safe and that Mike Johnson doesn't come up with another flimsy excuse to not swear her in, we could see a vote on this at the earliest the first week of December, an early Christmas gift right before Thanksgiving, unless, the president starts a war or pulls down his pants or comes up with some other kind of distraction, flashes the diapers or some other kind of distraction that will take us off of the Epstein file. I think it's going to be tough, though, because this is something both Democrats and Republicans are calling for fairly consistently, even through the government shutdown, even through the finger pointing, even through all of these crazy revelations and weird illegal moves, the ending of SNAP for now, it just appears, the laying off of people, the terrible delays at the airports. You still hear people going, release the Epstein files, release the Epstein files. And so my guess is that unless he starts World War III, we will see, or finds a way to, send Representative Grijalva on a long walk on a short pier, that we will be seeing a vote and possibly the release of all of these files in December, right after the Thanksgiving recess. So in other words, not only do we have a lot to talk about today, we're going to have a lot to talk about for the rest of this year, and I certainly hope it lands in a way that brings some justice. I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, the First Lady, or the President, or members of the Democratic Party. I don't care if you're a pedophile and you were involved in this terrible mass crime. You should be held accountable. That's what I think. What do you think? 800-920-1580. You're welcome in. As always, I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
We asked seniors how to...
Don't talk to them. They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the company of family and friends and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
That's a good point, Michael. Just because Congress votes to release the Epstein files doesn't mean they'll actually do it, especially when we're talking about the fact that this is a Trump-controlled Department of Justice, that they would need to, I guess they would need to pass a resolution in the House and the Senate to force the release of all of the Epstein files. That would be weird if it went to the president's desk, because he would have to find a way to weasel out of signing it. But he said on the campaign trail that he would likely release them. But he said, what if it does damage to people? So then they're going to redact stuff, and we don't know what they'll end up redacting. But still, in all, that would be a big step if Representative Grijalva is sworn in, and at least it forces a vote. It'll at least force members of Congress to show their behinds as to whether or not they're going to actually advocate for the release of all of the this point. But it's clear from these emails that the president did know about these girls. It seems like he might have been lying about when he stopped being in contact with Epstein based on this, allegedly. He continues to deny wrongdoing, of course. But today is when Representative-elect Grijalva will be sworn in, so that's going to set off whatever is going to happen next in this saga of the Epstein files. The discharge petition is something that we don't see used a lot. It means that they can bring something to the floor without the help of the majority party, and that means it's going to force the bill to go to the floor, which is why it would happen in December. It takes 7 legislative days for that to happen. Senate Republicans have not said that they will bring up a similar measure if the House passes it. So if Grijalva gets in and the House of Representatives pass it, the Senate could still drag their feet. But I don't know if they will, because this is where you start to see the Marjorie Taylor Greene effect, where Republicans are concerned about their base. The hardcore MAGA folks want the Epstein files released. They think all that stuff you peddled to them, Trump, about Pizzagate and this massive, Hillary Clinton eating babies and all the stuff the conspiracies and mis and disinformation, some of it true information mixed with lies that you've been peddling, they want the receipts. And so I don't know if the Senate can get away with burying this if the House passes it. I don't know if they can. I think it might come out of the Senate. Republicans are saying they think it's going to die in the Senate. But I don't know. And if it does die in the Senate, that is going to deepen the cracks in the MAGA unity, I think. The Marjorie Taylor Greene effect, the disillusionment of some MAGA folks who are saying, hey, this dude is not putting America first. He's hiding the Epstein files. Maybe he's part of the deep state. It's gnawing away at his sort of fake populist veneer as an elitist billionaire, right? Who has been masquerading as a populist, as a people's politician. I don't know. Maybe Republicans know something I don't. If enough of those senators are in the Epstein files, perhaps they don't care about the MAGA base abandoning them or not being reelected or being dragged to hell on social media, which will likely happen. And, Miles, to your point, we don't know who's in there. It might not just be politicians, might not just be Melania. It could be corporate leaders, could be celebrities. I'm sure there are celebrities, and it might be Ellie.
Could in it. I think we need to be, I'm not saying don't release them. I'm just saying prepare yourself, be ready for it, and keep that same energy you have for the president and for politics, where everything else you see on them files. If this is the end and the cutoff line you're drawing in the sand, keep that same energy when you see, the clothing brand owners that are on there and these sports team owners and these companies and oligarchs
rappers
and
actors and rappers and actors and Democrats.
I'm talking I'm talking your religious leaders. I'm talking everybody that's on there, y'all.
Fair point. I mean, but to me, I don't have sympathy for them because if they were sleeping with little kids, with little girls, underage children, then that's what they get.
Exactly.
But I can see what you're saying. It's kind of like the potential for information overload and something we're not ready for, a disillusionment with someone we love, or someone that's a hero of ours. Could be a whole mental health blow to the entire nation, right? Just in time for the holidays. The broke, high inflation, government shutdown holidays that are upon us. It could be the last straw. Is that kind of where you're going with this?
I think so. I'm kind of more just going with the people that's telling them stay prepared. You know what I mean? Get ready, because there's going to be a lot. This isn't the end. This is not the last tactic of this distraction and this over saturation of information they putting us in right now. So get prepared for it. But I'm on everybody's head. I want to make sure everybody keeps this same energy throughout this whole process.
Here's what I know: I ain't in no Epstein files.
I'm not.
I know that for sure, without a shadow of a doubt.
The thing too, I'm pro. Let the BS party die. Like Kendrick said, let the party die. I'm all for letting whatever BS has to stop to cut off so we can, get over this period we in.
Yeah, because it's a demon party.
Demon party.
I'm not here. I'm here. You have a right to be a freak. You have a right to have your baby oil. You have a right to whatever you want between consenting adults, but you don't get to assault children. You don't get to do that. And I have, I'm bracing myself because I'm sure there's some folks I admire that will come out and I'll be sad and I'll cry about it. But I'm, safety over party. I don't care if they're Democrats. If they're Democrats, be accountable. I don't care if they're progressives. I don't care if they're Republicans.
What if they're the owner of social media platforms we're using? You get off them social media platforms?
Boo-hoo. Accountability. Those people should be more accountable than anyone because they're the ones that are letting people get away with Nazism and pedophilia on the platforms.
Pushing the agenda to distract you and keep you, keep your mind off of it. And they know your algorithm, know how your brain works and everything.
Yeah, the demon algorithm. Right, exactly. I saw a post about how the some of these predators are now using profiles of professional sports players to connect them with fake girls that match their taste, their specific taste, and then setting them up to look like pedos even if they aren't. So, it's a minefield out there. Well, we shall see. I guess Speaker Johnson could tank this, even if Grijalva signs it. He has mechanisms he could use to tank it. But Republicans in the House have already said they're not going along with it. They want a vote on it. So the key question will be the Senate. Is the Senate going to protect the president and Melania and all of themselves and their corporate friends? They seem to say yes. Paul says it's the oligarchy that's in the files. I think that's mostly true. This was a rich man's playground. That's what it was. Michael says if Musk's in there, we'll get Twitter back. Maybe. I mean, and if they all crash out, well, it's like Prince said, all seven, and we'll watch them fall.
Some fall and burn.
Yeah.
We're going to cook and do our
Stand in the way of love, and we will smoke them all. Carl says, what about the actors and actresses who said they left before the party started? We shall see. We shall see. This is all playing out just in time for the ho holidays. Tavis Miley's joining me next. He found Pedro. Wow, can't wait to hear what he has to say. Where's Pedro? About to find out next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says the U.S. needs the H-1B visa program to bring in skilled workers. He shared his thoughts in a Fox News interview.
When
Well, we
a
have
country
plenty of talented people
no,
here.
you don't. No, you don't. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn.
Trump pointed to a Georgia battery plant raid where hundreds of South Koreans were deported, saying, quote, "You're going to need those workers," end quote. A black man in Maryland was arrested twice in under 24 hours for attacking the same woman. Police say 40-year-old James Bowman assaulted her again just hours after being released on domestic violence charges. He's now being held without bond. And rapper Westside Gunn says WWE kicked him out of a Monday Night Raw event and sent a cease and desist over using wrestling images on album covers. Gunn says he spent over $5,000 on tickets and travel and now plans to focus on his own wrestling league, Fourth Rope. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Families have been loving LifeSource Whole House Water Systems for over 40 years. And now when you buy LifeSource, you can save up to $1,000 with the no sales tax special. Call 800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com.